My name is Rachel Morgan, and if someone had told me a year ago that I'd be keeping one of the biggest secrets of my life, I would have laughed. I was never the type to hold things in. I was open, expressive, and honest to a fault. But life has a funny way of turning the tables when you least expect it. It started on a rainy Tuesday afternoon. I had just returned home from work, soaked from head to toe because I had forgotten my umbrella. My job as a school counselor was demanding, but I loved it. Helping kids, being a trusted adult they could talk to, it made me feel like I had purpose. That day, though, something felt off the moment I stepped inside my house. Everything was quiet, unusually quiet. I lived alone, so silence wasn't unusual, but that day, the stillness felt heavy. Like the air was thick with something unseen. I shook the thought off, blaming the gloomy weather for my mood, and headed to my room to change into dry clothes. As I passed the guest room, I noticed something strange. The door was slightly ajar. I always kept it closed. I paused, feeling a chill that had nothing to do with the rain. Slowly, I pushed the door open. At first, everything looked normal. The bed was made, the curtains drawn. But then I noticed the corner drawer of the small desk was open, and papers were scattered on the floor. My stomach sank. I knelt to pick them up and realized they were old letters. Letters from my father, who had passed away 4 years ago. I hadn't looked at those letters in years. They were personal, filled with memories and private thoughts he had written to me during his battle with cancer. I had tucked them away, safe in that drawer. So why were they suddenly out? I felt a tight knot form in my chest. Had someone been in my house? I checked every window, every lock, and every door. Everything was secure. Nothing else seemed out of place. But those letters being out, it just didn't make sense. I tried to tell myself maybe I had taken them out and forgotten, but I knew I hadn't. I remember locking that drawer. I felt violated, unsure of what had happened. The next few days, I couldn't focus. I was jumpy, always glancing over my shoulder. Then, a week later, things escalated. I came home to find my kitchen light on and a single glass of water on the counter. I hadn't used a glass all day. I stood in the kitchen, staring at it, heart pounding. Was someone messing with me? Was I losing my mind? I called my best friend, Jenna, that night. I didn't tell her everything, just that I was feeling anxious and something felt off in my house. She offered to come over, but I said no. I wasn't ready to share the full truth. I wasn't ready to admit that I felt like I was being watched. Things only got worse. Over the next few weeks, I noticed more strange things. My clothes would be moved. The television would be turned to shows I didn't watch. Once, I found a sock I hadn't seen in months placed neatly on my bed. It was always small things, just enough to make me question myself. One night, I stayed up late, determined to catch whoever, or whatever, was doing this. I set up an old baby monitor in the hallway and left my bedroom door cracked open. I waited in bed, hardly breathing. Around 2 a.m., I heard it. A creak. Not from the hallway. From inside the house. I sat up, holding my breath. The sound of footsteps, soft and slow, echoed down the hall. I couldn't move. My body was frozen in fear. I reached for my phone, fingers trembling, and dialed 911. The police arrived 10 minutes later, but by then, the house was still. They found nothing. No sign of forced entry. No fingerprints. Nothing. I could see the doubt in the officer's eyes. Was this woman just imagining things? But I knew what I had heard. After they left, I sat on my couch until sunrise. I didn't sleep at all. I was terrified to close my eyes. That day, I decided to install cameras. Not just inside, outside too. I wasn't taking any more chances. I didn't tell anyone, not even Jenna. I needed to catch this person. And I did. 3 days later, I checked the footage from the living room camera. What I saw made my blood run cold. It was my ex-boyfriend, Daniel Harris. We had broken up a year ago. It wasn't a bad breakup, not really. Things had just run their course. He wanted something more serious. I wasn't ready. We stayed friendly, or so I thought. But there he was, in my living room, walking around like he belonged there. He picked up the photo frame from my bookshelf, looked at it for a moment, and then placed it back down. Then he walked into the kitchen, drank a glass of water, and disappeared down the hall. The footage was time-stamped 1:46 a.m. I felt like I was going to be sick. All this time, all those little signs, him. He had a key. He had been inside my house. Repeatedly. And I had no idea. I wanted to scream. I wanted to confront him. But most of all, I felt betrayed, violated, and terrified. What did he want? Why didn't he just talk to me? How long had he been doing this? I couldn't go to the police with just this one video. He hadn't taken anything, hadn't hurt me. But I also didn't feel safe waiting until he did. So I changed my locks. I installed new security. I told my boss and took 2 days off work. But I still didn't tell Jenna. Or anyone else. I was ashamed, confused, and scared of what they'd think. How could I not have known? How could I let this happen? The final straw came 2 nights later. I heard a knock on my bedroom window. Not the front door. Not even the side door. The window. I froze. My bedroom is on the 2nd floor. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. I just listened. And then I heard it again. 3 soft knocks. I grabbed my phone and called 911. Again. This time, I showed them the footage. This time, they took it seriously. Daniel was arrested the next day. Apparently, he had made a copy of my key when we were dating. He said he missed me, that he just wanted to check in, that he didn't mean to scare me. But the truth is, he had violated my trust, my home, my peace. A restraining order was issued. He's not allowed within 100 feet of my house, my work, or me. And I've taken every precaution since. New locks. New alarm system. Even a self-defense class. But the fear didn't go away overnight. Even now, months later, I sometimes wake up in the middle of the night and check the cameras. Just in case. I eventually told Jenna. She cried with me. She was angry, furious that I hadn't come to her sooner. But she understood. I had been so shocked, so afraid. I didn't know who to tell. I didn't know how to tell. That experience changed me. I still love helping others, but now I talk more about boundaries, safety, and intuition with my students. I tell them it's okay to trust their gut. Because if I had listened to mine sooner, maybe I would have stopped it before it escalated. I'm healing, slowly. I still live in the same house, though I thought about moving. But I won't let fear push me out of my own home. This is my space. And no one will ever take that from me again.